Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in the house. Welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Ron, host of Dr. Ron Unfiltered, Uncensored, saying hello to all of Dr. Ron's wellness warriors because, as we know, things are not getting better. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to be warriors. I'm telling you again, we live in a world where medical error is one of the leading causes of death. So you better start doing your own research. I've been telling you the Socratic method, which Socrates says I can't teach you, but I can encourage you to think. And now I find out that Buckminster Fuller says, quote, I am not trying to counsel any of you to do anything really special, except dare to think and dare to go with the truth and to dare to really love completely. Buckminster Fuller. So today we're going to continue talking about how you can help yourself to stay healthy, how you can fight fatigue. We talked about energy. We've been talking about energy both in healing and in feeling, and we're going to talk about mitochondrial health today. That powerhouse in our cells and what happens to them and why they fail. And I noticed that RFK is talking about that now. We've been talking about it for 3 years here on Dr. Ron, Unfiltered, Uncensored. We've been talking about mitochondria, methylene blue, red light, CoQ10, things that just now are starting to make the headlines. I do have to share with you a little rabbit hole. It's not good. It really isn't good. Let's just start out with the guys for a second. You know, a lot of men kickstart their day with a cup of Java. You stop and you get a disposable cup. But you know what? Because these disposable cups have and release polystyrene and microplastics into the beverage, the bottom line of the science is they decrease your testosterone levels, can alter your testicular cells, all linked to that morning cup of coffee. So you know what to do. You don't drink out of the plastic cups. Don't put anything hot into those plastic cups. Unless you want to be one of the low testosterone people, I'll say no more. Secondly, I want to just bring to your attention a British medical journal article that sheds light on the bad effects of diagnostic errors in the United States. They found an alarming 795,000 Americans suffer permanent disability or death annually due to diagnostic errors. Compare that to the 2 cases of bird flu, which is driving everybody crazy and for which our government will be spending billions of dollars for vaccines that probably will kill more people than help them. 795,000 Americans suffered permanent disability or death annually due to diagnostic errors. The conditions identified mainly were vascular events, infections, and cancers. The big three, 75.8% of all diagnostic errors. The big three, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we continually talk about taking care of yourself and make sure you have a great rapport with your healthcare provider. That your healthcare provider should only order appropriate tests for after they've made a preliminary diagnosis, and then order the appropriate diagnostic test, and then have the test interpreted correctly, and then have a plan of action based on that test. So there's a human cost to these diagnostic errors. This is something that, again, as I said, medical error is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So instead of our physicians learning how to diagnose something based on a Google search, they have to be trained better. And again, another little rabbit hole. I just saw an article today. The state of Pennsylvania is begging for doctors. No one, there are a shortage of almost every specialty in Pennsylvania. So if you have a license in any other state, they'll take you. Okay, so we have underdiagnosis, overdiagnosis, and misdiagnosis, all in the scope of medical care. And overdiagnosis, not to, again, spend a lot of time today, but take prostate cancer. As many as 30% of prostate cancers detected through the PSA screening may be overdiagnosed. That's 60,000 to 100,000 men. And then you have to go through a biopsy, surgery, radiation, whatever. And how many people are hurt by missing diagnoses? If you combine overdiagnosis, misdiagnosis, you're talking about 1.5 million Americans each year affected by errors of diagnosis or overdiagnosis. Again, British Medical Journal, you can look it up. Well, welcome back to the title of the day, where we will dive somewhat into the science of energy, healing, and optimal health. Again, I'm Dr. Ron. The name of the podcast is Dr. Ron Unfiltered, Uncensored, with a subtitle of Dr. Ron's Wellness Warriors. So let's explore the topic that's critical to understanding our energy levels, our health, even aging. You hear the term mentioned, mitochondrial dysfunction. That's what we'll be talking about and what we have talked about over the last 3 to 4 years. So the mitochondria are the powerhouses of the cell. But what happens when these little guys, these little power plants start to fail? That's what we'll have to get into. Just as an aside, as we age, our mitochondria decline in numbers, so they produce less energy. That contributes to inflammation and alterations in mitochondrial function are thought by some to be the basis for the aging process. So, do we have to accept this decline in mitochondrial function to be a normal part of aging? Well, let's see. So, mitochondria are small structures. There's probably 100 trillion in our body, found in every cell in our body, and their main job is to produce energy. This energy is created through a process called, here we go, oxidative phosphorylation. Simply, the mitochondria convert oxygen into nutrients from the food that we eat into something you will hear always associated with mitochondria, and that's ATP. That's the cell's energy. So think of ATP as fuel for your body's processes, from muscle contractions to brain function. So if you don't have enough of it, you start to feel tired, sluggish, and even sick. And as we've talked about, your mitochondria have to do with energy, but if they have to divert their attention to inflammation or infection, then you get tired. If you have the flu, you're tired because your mitochondria are going to heal you rather than just to give you a lot of energy. But how do things go wrong? Well, when the mitochondria become damaged or stop functioning, right? Mitochondrial dysfunction. When your cells don't get enough energy to perform optimally. And it can affect many parts of your body and a variety of health issues, chronic fatigue, neurodegenerative diseases. And here we're talking about Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, even metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes. And of course, as we alluded to, it's been associated with aging and accelerated aging. So if you're feeling drained or fatigued, you're not sure why, it could be your mitochondria struggling just to keep up. And what causes this dysfunction? Well, another big word, oxidative stress. When you form free radicals, which are unstable molecules, they can cause damage by oxidation, like rust, to the mitochondria over time. And that can just break them down. So think of it as your cells getting rusty. Toxins, environmental pollutants, heavy metals, certain chemicals harm the mitochondria, causing disruption. Here we have to mention Roundup. Glyphosate. A lot of people that I speak with and that I talk to other doctors about in energy healing find glyphosate in the mitochondria. And when they detox from glyphosate using glycine, people get better. And you could have deficiencies of nutrients because the mitochondria rely on vitamins and minerals, CoQ10, magnesium, the B vitamins. So if you're deficient in them, the mitochondria take a hit. And then aging is, part of the process where they think that the mitochondria naturally decline in function. So a lot of people feel less energetic as they get older. But do we have to? We'll talk about that later. And there are some genetic factors. There are some people that are genetically predisposed to mitochondrial disorders, but they start at a very, very young age. How can it affect you? How can it affect areas of your health? Again, we come back to that symptom of fatigue. I don't feel like I have enough energy. I'm always tired. So if you have mitochondrial dysfunction, you will often feel chronically tired, no matter how much sleep you get. The mitochondria, I can't tell you enough, they play a critical role in your brain health. They supply the energy for those nerves to communicate with each other. And if you have a short circuit or they're not communicating, you have memory loss, cognitive problems, degenerative diseases. And the mitochondria regulate metabolism of the nutrition of your body. So if you get a dysfunction, it can lead to insulin resistance. And that's why it's associated with type 2 diabetes. And again, aging. Research is showing that mitochondrial damage accumulates as we age and contributes to signs of aging. Like I said, you're tired, you lose some muscle, and it takes you longer to recover. So what can we do? Let's talk about what no one else talks about. And I mean that no one else We'll talk about this. Cutting edge therapies for mitochondrial health because there is hope for improving it. There are many ways to boost the function of the mitochondria alongside of the well-known strategies like diet and exercise. So let me tell you two right now: methylene blue and red light. Methylene blue, again, a subject that's I've been talking about for years. You can find it in a fish store. It's used to treat some kind of tropical fish fungus. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about pharmaceutical grade methylene blue, which is the base molecule for hydroxychloroquine and has been used to treat acetaminophen poisoning. That's Tylenol. So methylene blue is an antioxidant. It controls that oxidation and a mitochondrial enhancer. Been around for 100 years. And it was originally used in a medical setting and still is. But it supports mitochondrial function. And it can optimize that electrical system in your mitochondria, improving energy production, especially when your cells are under stress. There are studies that show that it can enhance your cognitive function and protect your brain cells and may even offer neuroprotection in diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It donates electrons. It's like when you do earthing, when you walk barefoot on the beach or barefoot on the grass, on the ground, you get electrons. And those electrons, either from earthing or from methylene blue, can help your mitochondria produce a lot of ATP. That's the energy currency of your cell. But it must be pharmaceutical grade. And something to go along with that is exposing yourself to red light. It's an exciting tool in our mitochondrial toolbox. You'll hear the name photobiomodulation. The therapy involves using specific wavelengths of red light and near infrared light that penetrate deep into the tissues to stimulate the mitochondria. What does the red light do? It helps increase the ATP production and reduce the oxidation. Now, there are specific wavelengths like 650 nanometers, but you can look into that. Jove has a JOOV, and they have a great red light, but there's others. Studies have shown that red light therapy can improve skin health, enhance muscle recovery, reduce inflammation, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Even boost your mood. This red light works directly on enhancing mitochondrial energy production. It's not invasive, it's natural, and you can recharge your cells and support your long-term health. As you get into this, you'll find many wellness enthusiasts using this treatment at home with these LED panels. Athletes are using it to speed up healing. And traditionally, you will hear, and it's easy to find, the therapies that everyone talks about, a nutrient-rich diet. Well, I mean that, and you have to get rid of the processed food and the ultra-processed food, and you must focus your diet on that, on organic products. Focus your diet and food that is rich in antioxidants like berries and leafy greens. Foods high in CoQ10, like fish, meat, and legumes. But remember, farm fish some describe it as garbage because of the feed that these fish are given. But if you eat a nutrient-rich diet and get wild fish and sardines, you can protect and fuel your mitochondria. Regular exercise, huh? Especially some strength training, in addition to the walking, that encourages the mitochondria to multiply and work more efficiently. Intermittent fasting, well, don't get frightened by that. I mean, it has been shown that intermittent fasting can improve mitochondrial efficiency. But if you have your last bit of food at 7 o'clock in the morning and you don't eat for 12 to 14 hours, I mean, that's only 7 to 9 or 10 o'clock the next day. And you're sleeping 8 hours of that time. And reducing toxins, pesticides, heavy metals, air pollution. Refer back to the podcast with zeolite with Micah. We've talked about that on 2 or 3 separate occasions recently. Manage your stress. Easier said than done, because stress generates oxidation. That damages the mitochondria. So we're talking, when we say manage stress, well, we're also talking about meditation and yoga, breathing exercise. So mitochondrial dysfunction is a silent energy thief, and it can affect everything in our daily energy levels, everything. But we have some traditional ways, and the 2 ways I brought into the equation today, the methylene blue and the red light, to help support and improve the mitochondria, therefore improving how we feel. So if you've been struggling, low energy, brain fog, unexplained fatigue, it might be worth exploring your mitochondrial health. See if that's playing a role. And through lifestyle changes, some novel therapies, good nutrition, you might be able to get yourself back to the Energizer Bunny. I can't tell you enough about environmental factors, the pollution in our airs, the toxins in our diets, and the glyphosate in our foods. Some of my close associates take a teaspoon of glycine every day, no matter what, because it counteracts the effect of the glyphosate. And it's a sweetener. A lot of them, my friends, are using it in their coffee. So we have to get up and get moving. Eating the right food. Some people, I'm looking at my list here, they're even talking about avoiding gluten. And gluten is found in grains, especially wheat, rye, and barley, and it's added to many packaged and processed foods. That's why we say stay away from them. Very inflammatory. And gluten can lead to a leaky gut syndrome. That's another podcast. There's a lot of research being done on healthy fats and the parent essential oils of Brian Peskin. But healthy fats include coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, MCT, which means medium chain triglyceride oils, nuts, seeds, and coconut milk, to be part of your diet. Your body knows what to do with them. Stay away from the canola oils and vegetable oils in general. So I hope you've learned a little bit today. I didn't want to take a lot of time, but as it was said in A Few Good Men,
you want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
So if you can handle the truth about what's going on in the field of medicine, you can take care of your health, and you could be ahead of the curve, and you won't be a statistic for overdiagnosis, underdiagnosis, or mistreatment. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Ron. I'm going to ask all of my listeners who have tried Easy Trek, if you have any comments about it, drop me a line at docronradio, docronradio @gmail.com, and we'll ask the Professor Peskin to do another podcast to answer your concerns, or if you've had a good result and you want to share that, uh, just let me know. Uh, it's it is a pharmaceutical food of parent essential oils that your body knows how to deal with, and it can make all the linoleic acid, arachidonic, everything your body needs just from this, and you only take it 5 days a week. So ever since Mr. Peskin talked to us about it, a lot of my family, friends, and listeners are trying it, and I'd like to hear some feedback from you. And remember, the name of this podcast is Dr. Ron Unfiltered, Uncensored. You can also find it on Rumble and BitChute. BitChute is doing a great job for us. In addition to the Spotify or just almost any place you get your podcasts. So thank you for listening and have a great day.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ron's finished for today. I hope you got some good wisdom for what the man had to say. If it's all about good health, he's the man you got to see. He has a lot more answers for you. So tune in next week when the doctor is in the house. Or when the doctor is in the house. And let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. So if you have a pain, call the doctor. If you have a strain, call the doctor. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. See you next week.